韩道友，有2人联手，说不定真有与他们一战之力呢。别做梦了，今日你难逃一死。
Marquis Nanlong suddenly sent Han Li a voice transmission. Good. I didn't expect for fellow Daoist Han to possess such heaven-defying abilities. If we join hands, we may be able to match them. When Han Li heard this, he swept his gaze to the other side. Marquis Nanlong and the others had yet to fight, but the others were staring at him with absolute shock. Marquis Nanlong appeared delighted from Han Li's recent display, and his hopes of escaping grew stronger. Marquis Nanlong immediately said, "So long as you join hands with me, I am willing to give you another jade box." Join hands? Ha ha. Han Li coldly laughed and said nothing. He carried no such desire. He clearly understood that he was able to easily dispatch of the stern-faced cultivator because he was unaware of the deadly celestial ice flames. Else, the battle would be taken far longer, even if he ended up victorious. There were still 3 early and 1 mid-nascent soul cultivators on the opposing side. If Marquis Nanlong was uninjured, it might have been a possible fight, but as gravely wounded as he was now, he would only be dragged down alongside him. It wasn't worth whatever was inside the jade box. But before he left, he needed to have them start fighting and have their focus be on the Marquis. Otherwise, their attentions would be focused on him, and it would be difficult for him to escape. With that thought, Han Li paid them no further heed and flapped his wings, leaving only thunder behind. When the white-clothed old man saw this, he immediately shouted, "Not good. He is about to run. Block him. Don't let him escape with the jade box." With the scene of Han Li instantly killing a similar grade cultivator still fresh in their minds, the old woman and the tan man ignored his words entirely. Even Wang Chenggu appeared hesitant. He couldn't decide whether to take action. After all, if Han Li truly left, they would be able to deal with the Marquis with complete certainty. The 2 jade boxes may as well be theirs. But if they were to forcefully detain Han Li, with his strange abilities, even the mid-nascent soul old man might not be able to prevail over him. It was far too risky. However, the jade box in Han Li's grasp might contain the secrets of Devilfall Valley that they all so deeply desired. As shrewd and cunning as Wang Chenggu may be, he found himself between 2 extremely difficult choices. When the white-clothed old man saw their hesitation, he understood them perfectly. He also felt some fear towards Han Li's celestial ice flames. Moreover, if he were to leave this place to deal with Han Li, the Marquis may escape. Although Marquis Nanlong's injuries were severe, 3 early nascent soul cultivators didn't have much hope of remaining steadfast against his formidable secret techniques. He also found himself hesitant as to what to do. In a flash of lightning, Han Li appeared at the top of the stairs. He strangely smiled at Wang Chenggu and company before pointing to the Black Mountain. The Black Mountain trembled and disappeared in an instant, only to appear above them and dropping down with all its might. None had expected that Han Li would launch such a sudden attack, to their fury. However, even the white-clothed old man didn't dare to take on the mountain's might alone. They could only helplessly dodge out of the way as the mountain fell down. This was finally the moment of Marquis Nanlong to strike. His eyes brightened and he transformed into a blinding streak of golden light, charging directly towards the old woman. In her fright, the old woman's body flashed with yellow light, summoning a small yellow shield to block the Marquis' approach. In an instant, gold and yellow light was intertwined, but eventually the golden light engulfed the old woman. When the others saw this, they instantly struck without any further thought and attempt to restrain the Marquis. But through some unknown secret technique, the golden light on his body became increasingly dense. At that same moment, he released several powerful ancient treasures to enter the fray. He didn't appear to be at the slightest disadvantage in this chaotic battle. The others were completely occupied in their alarm and couldn't pay any attention to Han Li's actions. When Han Li saw this, he was satisfied and pointed once more to the Black Mountain. It shrunk to several inches in a gust of wind and shot back into his hand. He then turned his gaze towards the violet blood mist with a stern expression on his face. With pupils glowing with blue light, Han Li gazed at a certain portion of the mist. He raised his hand without any hesitation and black light began to surge through it. A dense mass of black-red light shot out from his palm towards the mist, discharging the Yin Devil execution. At the same moment, a wretched scream came from the blood mist. Han Li had already disappeared with a flash of lightning. Even if Wang Chan somehow managed to survive the strike, his injuries would be grave. While he did wish to take advantage of this opportunity to ensure Wang Chan's death, he was certain that Wang Chenggu would definitely come to Wang Chan's aid. When that moment came, he would be tied down in a battle against Wang Chenggu, attracting much danger onto himself. In any case, Han Li would always have the ability to kill a trifling late core formation cultivator like Wang, so he had no need to risk danger now. As such, he immediately fled after making his attack. Han Li's figure appeared at the exit the building in a blur and flew straight towards the hall's entrance. Along the way, a white streak of light flew into Han Li's sleeve from the corner of the hall. It appeared to be a small white fox. "Master, Silver Moon spoke with an excited tone. Han Li flew straight out the hall and gloomily interrupted, "Now is not the time to talk. Leave it for when we're out of danger." When Han Li broken through the wondrous soul restriction, Han Li deliberately used a flash of dazzling light to hide a gap in the restriction that he created. In that instant, he had Silver Moon go through. Afterwards, he deliberately stalled for time as he dissolved the formation. It was for this reason that Han Li had taken such efforts to break through the wondrous soul restriction, not on the mere basis of priority selection. From how excited Silver Moon appeared, it seemed she had reaped quite a bit of profit from the pavilion. Having taken the initiative to seize the treasures, Han Li had refused Marquis Nanlong's proposal to fight together and simply chose to prioritize his own escape. In the instant Han Li shot through the entrance of the hall, he felt an earth-shaking rumble from behind him. Alarmed, Han Li hastily turned his gaze around. He saw that the Jade Pier pavilion suddenly ruptured to reveal a blazing golden sun that was 3 meters wide. It flew out from rubble, carrying a faint silhouette. It appeared Marquis Nanlong had executed some sort of secret technique. Han Li was shaken by the sight. The Jade Pier pavilion wasn't an ordinary building. Han Li doubted his own ability to break through its walls, but Marquis Nanlong was able to turn it into rubble in a single blow. It seemed the full might of a nascent soul cultivator wasn't a simple matter in the least. With his attention back to the matter at hand, Han Li flew into the center of the hall and glanced at the restored walls around him. He raised his hand without any further thought and flickered his finger. A meter-long streak of sword light flew out from his hand and struck the opposing wall. A rough hole was cut in the wall. Then in a flash of white light, the hole disappeared without a trace. Han Li frowned. Just as he thought of another method to break it, his expression suddenly changed and he turned around in an instantaneous blur. Marquis Nanlong was standing there about 10 meters behind him. His body was glaring with dazzling golden light, but his complexion was deathly pale. Han Li's eyes gazed past him towards the pavilion. He simply saw that a huge dome of golden light was covering the pavilion. Occasional flashes of black and white light could be seen within, along with the faint sounds of explosions. A trace of shock appeared on Han Li's face. Through the use of some sort of heaven-defying technique, he managed to trap the others inside for the time being, giving him the time to escape. The outer restrictions need to be opened with the formation flag. Fellow Daoist Han, since I only have a single formation flag, it will take some more time. I will have to trouble you to delay them. Although the might of my ancient treasure may be great, I don't know how much longer they will be trapped. They could break out at any moment. Marquis Nanlong forced a smile and flipped his hand. He held a small fluttering yellow flag in his hand and began to mutter incantations without delay. It appeared he didn't have the slightest fear of Han Li attacking him. Han Li's gaze flickered and he quickly slapped his storage pouch. An emerald green formation plate appeared in his hand, the magic tool that he had used to break through the wondrous soul restriction. He quickly drew several azure talisman characters into the air and blew them onto the formation plate, causing it to brightly shine with azure light. Han Li formed an incantation gesture with his hands and softly shouted, "Rise." Apart from the side that Marquis Nanlong was facing, the walls turned back to blue crystal, sealing off the hall once more. Marquis Nanlong ceased his incantation at the sight and joyfully said, "You are able to control the wondrous soul formation." Revealing not a trace of pride, Han Li sullenly said, "I'm not even capable of mustering even a tenth of its original power. It won't be able to hold them for long either. Brother Nanlong had best open the way before they break through." When Marquis Nanlong heard this, he discovered that the crystal walls were far darker than they were originally, and his expression of joy suddenly vanished. He then tossed the small flag, having it disappear into the wall in a trace of light before continuing with his incantation. At that same moment, he heard deafening rumbles from behind him and saw that the crystal walls had begun to sparkle. The thunderous explosions were clear to hear. It seems they've managed to break through the Marquis' ancient treasure and have begun their attack on the crystal walls. Han Li glanced at the stone wall and saw it was faintly glowing with white light before turning his gaze back to the blue crystal walls. After some slight hesitation, he tossed a spirit beast pouch into the air, summoning a swarm of black-tainted gold-devouring beetles. With the formation of an incantation gesture, the beetle swarm frantically surrounded Han Li and transformed into tri-colored armor. An odd expression momentarily appeared on the Marquis' face when he saw Han Li executing the insect armor technique. But since their need for escape was urgent, he left the matter alone. A short moment later, the crystal walls violently trembled as if on the verge of collapse. Likewise, the stone wall also began to shake and part amongst the white light, revealing the stairway ahead of them. As soon as Marquis Nanlong saw this, his body pulsed in golden light and he shot out. Behind him, Han Li's thunderstorm wings flapped with golden lightning and suddenly disappeared from sight. A moment later, Han Li appeared in front of and Marquis Nanlong appeared in midair. But soon, he saw a clear explosion from down below. With an expression of alarm, Han Li flapped his thunderstorm wings once more and he instantly arrived at the exit of the stairs. Afterwards, he employed his lightning movement to its fullest extent and began to flicker into the distance. Just as Han Li flew a kilometer away, a piercing cry came from the stairs, followed by a ball of blinding golden light streaking across the sky. The Marquis flew once around and announced in an icy, resentful tone, "Take this to heart, you had best avoid falling into my hands or I will exterminate both your body and soul." Once this oath was finished, his golden light gleamed and began to appear indistinct. Just as a silver light shot out from the mountain entrance, the golden radiance suddenly turned exceptionally slim and flickered several times before tearing through the sky at an immense speed. In nearly a single breath, it had disappeared from sight. At that moment, Han Li was already on the edge of the sky, appearing as an intermittently flickering dot. Closely following the silver light, a streak of black light faded away to reveal a silhouette. Wang solemnly asked, "What movement techniques are they using to travel so quickly?" The silver light faded away to reveal the white-clothed old man. He gloomily said, "Marquis Nanlong is using a secret technique that was personally created by Master Kankuan, Mileshed Line. By consuming vast amounts of vitality and blood essence, one is able to instantly travel into a distance in light as thin as a thread. It makes their aura entirely hidden so that they cannot be tracked. While he truly hasn't traveled too far away, it will be impossible to detect him with spiritual sense. As for that youngster Han, he seems to be controlling lightning through use of those strange wings. It should be the instant lightning movement of legend." At that moment, the old woman and the Tan cultivator both shot out from the passage and heard of the old man's words. With a pale and uneasy expression, the old woman asked, "Given how fantastic their movement techniques are, they'll be able to make a clean escape. What should we do?" The Tan cultivator now appeared in complete disarray. That youngster Han is of little consequence, but if Marquis Nanlong escapes, it will be great cause for trouble. Fellow Daoists Wang and Yun, we only agreed to collude against Marquis Nanlong because of you two. The old man coldly chuckled and sinisterly said, "Be at ease. From the beating he received, what do you think his truly cultivation is now? From forcefully drawing magic power in his injured state to using the Mileshed Line, he will certainly be gravely injured without any further action. Even if he spent the next 100 years restoring his vitality, he won't be able to preserve his mid-nascent soul stage cultivation. Moreover, when did I ever say I didn't have a way of tracking him down?" With roused spirits, the Tan man suddenly asked, "Brother Yun means?" The old man readily said, "Since I planned to kill him, it is only natural that I prepared for this ahead of time. So long as he isn't able to move 150 kilometers in a single stretch, I will be able to find him. But given the current state of his body, he won't be able to sustain the Mileshed Line for long. When that time comes, we'll track him down and dispose of him." The old woman's expression relaxed and she sighed, "That's good. This is greatly reassuring. Were it not for the black jade lotus that fellow Daoist Wang gave to me and the promise of sharing the secrets of Devil Fall Valley with us, I definitely wouldn't have braved such dangers. Becoming enemies with a mid-nascent soul cultivator isn't a wise decision." The Tan cultivator also appeared relieved and he said, "We've spent quite a bit of effort for the secrets of Devil Fall Valley. However, we didn't expect that fellow Daoist Yun was actually an elder for the Ghost Spirit sect. How surprising! Could it be that the 6 Devil Dao sects have so many hidden elders?" Once he finished speaking, a complicated expression appeared on his face. The white-clothed old man shook his head and insipidly said, "Although I came from the Ghost Spirit sect in my youth, I wasn't very involved with sect affairs. Thus, only a few know of my true identity as a Ghost Spirit sect elder. I didn't truly have the intention to deceive any others. To tell the truth, Marquis Nanlong was a descendant of Master Kankuan and had been my friend for many years. I didn't wish to kill him. But it is a pity that I discovered he stealthily formed friendships with the elders of the righteous Dao Heaven Peak sect and grew interested in joining their sect. I urged him to change his mind, but his mind was unchanged. Furthermore, he planned to draw support of the Heaven Peak sect to enter Devil Fall Valley. As such, I couldn't just stand by and allow the righteous Dao to grow in power. I had no option but to deal with him. With a slight surprise, the old woman asked, Marquis Nanlong has ties with the Heaven Peak sect. Fellow Daoist Yun, you didn't mention this matter before. As for the Tan cultivator, he appeared furious. The white-clothed old man surnamed Yun smiled and calmly said, I didn't mention the matter? You just carelessly overlooked the matter. However, Marquis Nanlong truly hasn't yet entered the Heaven Peak sect. If you are feeling worried, you can join my sect and become elders. That way, the Heaven Peak sect won't be able to touch you. The old woman coldly snorted, given my age, I have no interest receiving further constraints. The Tan cultivator frowned and indifferently said, I am accustomed to being without responsibilities and also have no interest in joining your sect. That is truly a pity. If you were to join our ghost spirit sect, our prestige would soar. The old man didn't mind their refusals and changed the topic. I won't insist on having you two join. So long as Marquis Nanlong is killed here, the Heaven Peak sect won't take the initiative to make any trouble on behalf of a dead man. It is just unfortunate that despite being friends with him for 100 years, he hadn't told me his intentions with regards to Devil Fall Valley. I only knew that there was a secret cave residence here and that there was a map of Devil Fall Valley that was left behind by Master Kangkuan. As such, we won't exterminate his nascent soul when we capture him. I will first use a soul scouring technique and see if he possesses any useful information. Wang Chenggu worriedly said, if by chance the map was in the box that youngster Han made off with, wouldn't we be helpless? Old man Yun slowly said, that can be dealt with. If this comes to happen, we'll leak this matter to all the sects in the Heavenly South when that time comes. Even the Heavenly Dao Alliance will wish to pursue this matter, let alone the righteous and devilish Dao, creating an opportunity for us to profit in the chaos. Let us see how a sect as trifling as the Drifting Cloud sect deals with the greed of wishing to monopolize the gains from Devil Fall Valley. In addition to the map, I am also interested in any information Marquis Nanlong may have on Devil Fall Valley. With this information, we'll be a step ahead even if the method of entering Devil Fall Valley became widespread. After a moment of thought, Wang Chenggu proposed, if it somehow turns out that way, that will be all we can do. But before that, he could try trading for the map. After all, even if he bears great resentment against us, there are few matters in this world that can't be traded for. Hee. Junior Marshal Brother Wang's proposal is preferable to my own. The old man then sighed and muttered, nevertheless, the youngster's abilities are truly bizarre. Is he truly around the same age as Junior Marshal Nephew Wang? From that last battle, the cunning he displayed was greater than even ours, and he was even able to defeat fellow Daoist Long. If I were to fight him alone, I too doubt my own ability to hold against him. Wang Chenggu's eyes flickered and a trace of vexation appeared on his face. I asked Wang Chan about him before. It seemed this person was an ordinary Yellow Maple Valley cultivator. At the time, he was truly but a Foundation establishment cultivator. His vast accomplishments in cultivation and ability are something of a mystery. Were it not for his abilities being contrary to expectation and his meddling, we would been able to easily dispose of Marquis Nanlong. When the old woman and the others heard this, they could only wryly smile. Wang Chenggu suggested, with that being said, let us first head back and free fellow Daoist Long. With his cultivation, he should be able to survive being frozen. Also, I am concerned for my nephew. Before that youngster Han departed, he released a blood-red light that appeared similar to the devil blood cleave that I personally cultivate. I don't know how well Channa was able to receive it. The old man replied, that's fine. Since we don't have any method of detecting him for the time being, let us go take a look at them. We'll carry out the pursuit once Marquis Nanlong is no longer capable of carrying out the mileshed line. In the next moment, the party flew back into the mountain. The party arrived at the ruins of the Jade Pier Pavilion once more to see a bewildered Yang Ruyan. She was crouching near Wang Chan, who laid motionlessly on the floor. When Wang Chenggu saw this, he asked with an icy tone, what happened? Were any of Channa's vitals struck? Even now, Wang Chenggu still displayed exceptional calmness. Wearing a slightly anxious expression, Yang Ruyan hesitantly replied, no, but his leg. Wang Chenggu took several steps forward and tensely frowned. He saw that both of Wang Chan's legs were missing from below their knees, but strangely enough, there wasn't a hint of blood. Yang Ruyan helplessly said, Lord Husband and I had joined hands to cast the blood spirit art's blood mist, but we were instantly attacked by some sort of strange technique. The blood mist was incapable of blocking it and my Lord Husband had dodged too late. His legs were. Wang Tiangu gloomily asked, since this is the case, then why aren't you using any techniques to recover his legs? You should know such a technique. With a tense brow, Yang Ruyan timidly said, I've attempted to restore his legs several times now, but the techniques aren't responding in the slightest. Although his wounds didn't shed any blood, a black chi condensed around the wound and it can't be driven off. It could be the reason why the healing technique failed and why he is unconscious. Wang Chenggu's expression relaxed and he began to concentrate his gaze on Wang Chan's wounds. It can't have been a common attack that struck you. Let me take a look. Wang Chan's wounds were covered in faint black chi as expected. Wang Chenggu lifted his hands and his fingers flickered with black light as he grabbed the harmful chi from one of the legs, gathering it into a pea-sized black ball on his finger. He thought to dispose of the harmful chi with true fire, but after some thought, he slapped his storage pouch and wrapped the ball of black chi with spiritual power before placing it in a jade bottle. Once it was properly taken care of, he casually placed it away. It seemed Wang Chenggu planned on examining this item for further understanding of Han Li's techniques. When Yang Ruyan saw that Wang Chenggu paid her no heed, a complicated expression momentarily appeared on her face before disappearing without a trace. Once Wang Chenggu took care of the black chi on the other leg, Yang Ruyan silently made another attempt to restore his limbs. Wang Chenggu nodded his head with satisfaction and turned his attention to the other side. The white-clothed old man and the others were at a loss as they stood around the ice-clad body of the stern-faced cultivator. Wang Chenggu walked towards them and bafflingly asked, What? You fellow Daoists aren't able to free him? A trace of fear appeared on the old woman's expression. She muttered, Free him? How? This ice is far more insidious than we could have imagined. The old man simply kept silent as he wore a gloomy expression on his face. What is that supposed to mean? Wang Chenggu turned his gaze to the ice-clad body and began to ponder. Brother Wang, take a good look. The tan cultivator suddenly raised his hand and flung a fist-sized chunk of jade towards the ice-clad body. Blue light flashed upon impact and the jade chunk was instantly covered in blue ice before dissolving into countless specks of fading glitter. The tan man remained still as he stood 3 meters away and pointed at the ice-clad body. Scorching white true fire shot towards the ice from his finger, but in the moment the true fire touched the blue ice, it disappeared in a flash of light as if it were absorbed. Wang Chenggu felt his breath turn cold. The old man sighed and asked, This blue ice is vicious. It seems that fellow Daoist Long's body has long died. It seems we can only have his nascent soul manifest and find a suitable body to possess. Didn't fellow Daoist Long already possess a body once before? The tan man appeared to be familiar with the stern-faced cultivator and sullenly said, No, this was his original body. The old man nodded his head and said, That's good. Now we just need to have fellow Daoist Long manifest his nascent soul. As if having heard this, the stern-faced cultivator's body shined with white light. Then with a muffled bang, his entire body turned to ash and faded away. All that remained in the blue ice was an inch-large nascent soul. It was clasping onto a thumb-sized jade ornament in his hand and its face was filled with resentment. It opened its small mouth and spouted out fire-red vital nascent flames onto the jade ornament in its hands. It then raised it above its head and suddenly surrounded its body in red-white flame. Without any further delay, he attempted to charge straight out. Wait, the old man seemed to think of something and hastily attempted to stop this, but he spoke too late. The nascent soul passed through the ice. What resulted afterwards sent chills down their spine. The formidable white-red flames had seemed to have been set alight by the ice, engulfing both the white-red flames and the nascent soul in blue fire. The white-red flames were instantly consumed by the blue fire, resulting in the deathly wail of the nascent soul. It turned frantic as it charged through the air. After flying about 50 meters away, it attempted to roll and exterminate the flames as it wildly howled in pain. A short moment later, the screams came to an abrupt stop and the nascent soul was refined in a ball of light that faded away. The cultivator surnamed Long was now dead in both soul and body.